What's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make another YouTuber statue. This time, I'll be showing you how to make Markiplier. By the way, if you have any more YouTuber statue needs, or any statue needs in general, feel free to check out the card system and the link below for my statue tutorials playlist. But now that all of that's out of the way, if you want to make Markiplier, here's what you're going to need. You will need some black stained clay, and some white stained clay. Also grab yourself some black wool, some dark grey wool. Also grab yourself some white wool, red wool, dark blue, and finally grab yourself some cyan wool. And once you have each one of those materials right there, and once you've figured out where you want to make them, I'll be making them right here. You're going to want to kick off your statue with a row of 8 white wool in a row on the floor. That's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. And once you have your row of 8 white wool, this is what you want to do for row number 2. Do a row of 8 black wool directly on top of it, like so. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 dark grey, 2 white wool, 2 black wool, 2 white wool, 1 dark grey. For the next row, do an entire row of dark blue wool. For the next 3 rows, place 4 dark blue in the center spots of the row, then place cyan everywhere else. And like I said, that's for 3 rows, so just do 3 rows of 4 dark blue in the center spots of the row, and then do cyan everywhere else, just like that. For the next 4 rows, do 2 dark blue in the 2 center spots of the row, then do cyan everywhere else. And like I said, that's 4 rows, so just do your 4 rows of 2, and then do cyan everywhere else. Like so. For the next 3 rows, do 3 solid rows of black wool. So that's 1, 2, and 3. These next few rows are a little trickier, so we're going to have to build these going from left to right. So for the next row, as a matter of fact, do yourself a favor and move red right in between the black and the black stained clay. That'll help you a little bit. So for the next row, do 1 black wool, 1 black clay, 4 black wool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 black clay, 1 black wool. For the next row, do 1 black clay, 1 red wool, 4 black wool, 1 red wool, 1 black clay. For the next row, do 1 black clay, 1 red wool, 1 black wool, 2 black clay, 1 black wool, 1 red wool, 1 black clay. For the next row, do 1 black clay, 1 red wool, 1 black clay, 2 red wool, 1 black clay, 1 red wool, 1 black wool. For the next row, do 1 black clay, 2 red wool, 2 black clay, 2 red wool, 1 black clay. For the next row, do 1 black clay, 1 red wool, 1 black clay, 2 black wool, 1 black clay, 1 red wool, 1 black clay. And for the next row, do 1 black wool, 1 black clay, 4 black wool, 1 black clay, 1 black wool. There we go, that's the difficult part taken care of the M. Do you guys know how much trouble I had doing that? I can barely see the black clay in my plans. Once you've got those rows taken care of, you then, for the next row, want to do an entire row of black wool. For the next row, do 4 white clay in the 4 center spots of the row, then place black wool everywhere else. For the final row of the torso, just place 6 white clay in the 6 center spots of the row, then black wool everywhere else, to give you something which should look a little bit like this. Nice and simple. That's the front of the statue without the arms attached. So once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. Come all the way up to the top of your statue. Take each one of these end top black blocks that we have here and extend them out of each side of your statue, each by 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are basically just the tops of the shoulders that we've just planted there. We're now going to build the arms, starting from the top, going down. So, starting with this right arm first of all, you want to take this row of 4 black wool, and you want to extend it down by 5. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now each one of the other blocks as well. So you just want to have, in total, 6 rows of 4 black wool. Once you've done that, you now want to take out your white stained clay, and you want to do 6 rows of white stained clay coming down from your 6 rows of black. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to give you something which should look like that, nice and simple. Once you've got that right arm taken care of, we now want to do the exact same thing to the left ear. So coming down from each one of these blocks, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5. There we go. So we want to have, again, in total, 6 rows of 4 black wool. 1 plus 5, 6. Now we want to do our 6 rows of white clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc, etc, until we have both of the arms firmly planted on our statue. And once you've got both of those arms taken care of, you have now 100% fully completed the front of your statue. Once all of that's done, we can now move on to the rest of it. So once you've reached this point right here, come all the way around to the back of your statue and come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Take out your white wool and extending out from each end of the bottom 2 corners of your statue, do 2 rows of 3 white wool coming out of the back of your statue. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. You then want to connect each one of those third blocks together, just like that, back block to form a U shape. This is just the entire base of the statue. We're now going to build up the entire back of the statue exactly how we just built up the entire front of the statue. So building upon these 8 back blocks that we have right here, do a row of 8 black wool. So that's row number 2 for the back of the statue. For the next row, place 4 black wool in the 4 center spots of the row, then do dark grey wool everywhere else. What you now want to do, you guys can see where we have that blue section on the front of the statue. Well, we want to now copy that onto the back of the statue, and the best way to do that is really just to copy what we have on the front. So basically, just copy that blue section that you have on the front of the statue and copy it onto the back, and it's as easy as that. So the leg section from where the blue starts is just absolutely identical on the back as it is the front. So just look directly forward at what you did there and then apply it onto the back, just like this. What you now want to do once you've got the legs taken care of is you just want to make the entire rest of the back section just black wool. It's as easy as that. The entire back from that point onwards is just black wool. It's just the back of his shirt, and apparently there's nothing on there, so we're just going to fill the entire back section in with black wool, then we'll be done. All we have to do then is the arms. So what you want to end up with is something that should look exactly like that. Nice and plain, nice and easy. So once you've got that taken care of, all you have to do now are the backs of the arms, which are identical to the fronts of the arms. So all you have to do to get these done is look directly forward at what you did for the fronts of the arms and just apply them onto the back of the statue in the relevant positions, obviously. So just copy what you did for the fronts of the arms directly onto the back of the statue, and there's really nothing more to say about it. So we're just copying the arms. We've already got one taken care of. We're now moving on to arm number 2. We're doing a very poor job. We're placing blocks all over the place. I didn't think it could get any worse. What am I doing? Am I drunk? Am I drunk and I just don't know it? What do they really put in cough medicine? What do they put in there? It's vodka, isn't it? But anyway, once you've completely taken care of the back portion of your statue, this is what it wants to end up looking like. Kinda similar to the front for the most part. Once you've reached this point right here, we can now move on to the sides of the statue. So come all the way over onto this side of the statue first of all. We're going to start all the way down at the bottom of the legs, just because for some reason I have no idea. I feel as though it's logical. It's probably not. So the way that we're going to fill in the side of the statues, it's really easy. Can you guys see the color that we have on the left and right hand side of us? In this case, this is black. What you basically want to do is just match that color and place it in these two empty spaces that we have on the side of the statue. So where you have cyan, place cyan, dark blue, black wool, so on and so forth, all the way up the side of your statue, including the bottoms of the hands, the tops of the shoulders, and the sides of the arms as well. So we're now just doing that. We're just applying the exact same technique all the way up the side of the statue, including the arms like I've just said. And when you get up to the top of the arms here, you just have to do 2 rows of free black wool coming in towards the center of the statue, just like that. Just do 1, 2, 3 coming in towards the center. You can do more, just don't do less. So what you want to end up with is something that should end up looking a little bit like this. Nice and simple. That's why I'm doing this quickly, guys, because it's nice and easy. You've just got to copy the color that you have on the left and right hand side, and there's nothing too much to it whatsoever. So once you've got that first side of the statue taken care of, we can now move on to the opposite side of the statue. So coming over to the opposite side of the statue now, exact same thing here. Doesn't really need any more explanation. We're just copying the exact same thing that we did on the opposite side, and there's nothing more to it. We're just copying the colors, we're throwing them in these 2 center spots, and then when we're finished, we'll have completed both sides of our statue. So we're at the top of the shoulder, 1, 2, 3, coming in towards the center. I did that a little wrong, but you guys can see I'm messing up a lot today. 1, 2, 3, coming in towards the center. Any more is fine, any less isn't, otherwise you'll end up with holes in your statue. So once you finish that second side of the statue, as you can see, absolutely identical to the first side. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the head of the statue. So once you've reached this point right here, pause this if necessary, of course, if you're still working on all of that stuff. You now want to move all the way over to the front of your statue, and you want to come all the way over to the top of the head. And whilst you're doing that, I'll adjust my plan so I can see what I'm doing. So once you're all the way on the front of the statue, all the way up at the top of the torso, you want to kick off the head by doing a row of 8 white clay on top of the top row of the torso, just like that. So just do a row of 8 white clay on top of the top row of the torso. Once you've got that first initial row of white clay, add another one coming directly towards you, in front of the statue, like that. For the next row, again being built in front of this row that we've just placed, do a row of 4 black wool in the 4 center spots of the row, then do white clay everywhere else, just like that. And that is the first row for the face of our Markiplier statue. Once you've got that first row taken care of, we're now going to build up all of the other rows on top of this most outward row. So for the second row of the face, going from left to right, do 1 white clay, 1 black wool, 4 white wool, 1 black wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, do an entire row of white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 white wool, 1 black wool, 2 white clay, 1 black wool, 1 white wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 2 black wool, 2 white clay, 2 black wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, do 3 white clay, 2 black wool, 3 white clay. For the final 2 rows of the face, do 2 solid rows of black wool, so that'll be 1 and 2, just stacked on top of each other, just like that. And that is your Markiplier statue face 100% fully complete. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now move all the way over to the rest of the head. So come all the way around to the back of the head, and where we have this first initial row of white clay that we placed so long ago, take out your white clay and extend it, coming towards the back of the statue by 2 rows. So add 2 additional rows of white clay coming towards the back of the statue. Then take out your black wool, and still coming towards the back of the statue, do 3 rows of black. So that will be 1, 2, and 3. Once you've added all of those rows, you have completely finished the base of the head. Once you've reached this point right here, you now want to come to the left and right hand sides of the head, and on top of these blocks right here, this first block that we have closest to the face on the right hand side here, on top of this block, you want to do a row of 4 white clay coming up, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And on top of the second block here, furthest away, coming towards the back of the head, you just want to do a single white clay, just like that, to form kind of like a J shape. Once you've done that on one side of the head, you now want to do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the head. So here, on top of this first block, next to the face, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on top of this third block or second block next to the face, however you want to look at it, place a single white clay, just like that. Once you've got that taken care of, you now want to take out your black wool, come to the back 2 corners of the head, and on top of these back 2 corners, you want to raise up the corners with your black wool until they are equal height with the top of the face, and then you want to connect them to the face, and you also want to connect them together like this. So essentially you want to form a nice cubish shape, a nice empty cubish looking shape. Once you've got that taken care of, all you have to do to complete the rest of the head is just completely fill the rest of the cubish shape in with black wool. So we're now just moving all the way around each one of these empty faces, and we're just filling them in with black wool. So I'm just doing that. We've just got the back, right hand side or left hand side. Again, it really does depend how you look at things. And then we've also got to fill in the top of the head as well. So we're just filling that in. Whoops. I really can't place blocks today, guys. I really can't. So we're just filling in the top of the head now. Once we've done this, we do have a small thing left to do, however. So let's finish that. There we go. So once you yourself have reached this point right here, once you've fully completed the head like this, if you want to, and I would suggest this since it does make the statue look a little bit better, if you want to, we can give Mark a headset. Shall we give him a headset? So once you've completely filled in the head, come all the way over to the left hand side of the head. And you guys can see where we have these 2 black wool right here, kind of like on the side of the head. Can you guys see these? I'm sure you'll be able to see them. Well, in front of these 2 black wool, place 2 more black wool coming out of the side of the head like that. On top of these 2 black wool, stack 2 rows of 2 dark grey wool, like that. You then want to take out your black wool, and you want to place black wool all the way around those 4 dark grey wool, except you don't want the black wool to connect on the corners. Once you've done that, you now want to go all the way over to the opposite side of the head, and you want to do the exact same thing. So we're on the opposite side of the head, these 2 black wool right here, just do 2 black wool, 2 rows of 2 dark grey on top, then black wool all the way around. And like I said, you don't want them to connect on the corners, so you just want to have 2 kind of cups like that. Oh, and we may as well do this whilst we're on the opposite side. So on the right hand side of the head, if you want to bottom left diagonally of this block right here, do 2 black wool kind of coming towards the face like this, and then do a single dark grey wool on the front of the face like that, like diagonally, but in front of the face in relation to that second black wool that we just placed. That is his microphone. Now all we have to do is connect the 2 ear cuffs together. So we're on the right hand side of the head still. Take out your black wool and extend those 2 top black wool all the way up to the top of the side of the head. It's really up to you whether you want these 2 parts to connect. If you want the headphones to look kind of squarish, then keep the corner blocks on the top of the head kind of intact. But if you don't want your headphones to look squarish, I'm going to show you both of them. So if you want your headphones to look like that, that's cool, but I like to knock the 2 top corner blocks off like that. So what you're essentially doing, as I kind of just did, take these 2 top blocks, raise them up to the top of the head, kind of run them all the way over the cross the side of the head, and then connect them all the way over to the opposite cuff. And what you'll want to end up with is something, this is probably the best view, is something that should look exactly like this. And that's a headset 100% fully taken care of. And within completing the headset, you have actually 100% fully completed your Markiplier statue. Let's take a look at him, shall we? We've left the hood on. That's not good. We don't want hoods. It makes everything darker. So let's take a look at the statue, shall we? So hopefully, if you guys have reached this point right here, if you have had no trouble whatsoever, you should be looking at a statue that should look not only similar to this one, it should look absolutely identical. Pretty nice looking statue, to be honest with you guys, and I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't even heard of this guy until, well, I decided to research his skin for the statue. I had no idea he was so massive on YouTube. It's kind of going to show you how big YouTube's getting when I've never heard of a guy that's got like 6-7 million subscribers, got a massive fan base and people that obviously really love him. I've never heard of the guy. How crazy is that? YouTube used to be such a small world and now it's just so huge, but kind of got a nice skin. It's a little bit simple, but it kind of reflects his likeness, to be honest with you. It does kind of quite look like the guy, to be honest. I don't know whether he wears a big black shirt with a letter M on it, but, you know, other than that, I'm sure that he looks very similar. I should have gave him some glasses or something, but that is the statue 100% fully complete, guys. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you managed to make it no problem. Remember, if you do have any more statue-related needs, feel free to check out the card system and the link below in the description for my statue tutorials playlist. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.